Throughout my life, I have seen the world, namely people on the internet, divided over anything and everything you can think of. I've seen the internet divided over the color of a dress, the color of a shoe, whether this pair of legs was shiny or painted. Yes, friends, division is everywhere. And though I never thought I would see the day came in 2022 when the world was suddenly united for the first time over one simple thing. And that thing was Rachel Zegler's promotional interviews for the new live-action Snow White.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
she's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair-brained. And so it's just a really incredible story and people everywhere.
So that little clip, amongst others, spread around the world like wildfire, and in just a short while, every single person on the planet was united in hatred for this movie before ever having even seen a trailer. Also, I kept the cup from the movie theater. So friends, as you probably definitely know, the new live-action Snow White was released in March of this year, and it has been just steeped in controversy since its conception. I know more about the controversy than I actually do the movie, and I've watched it like 4 times now. And if you want a highly educated, eloquent, well-spoken, and well-informed opinion about the drama surrounding this movie, as always, you have come to the wrong place. The drama about this movie has been just absolutely, has oversaturated the entire internet. You guys already know about it. But in a nutshell, the internet felt like Rachel Zegler, the main actress in this movie, was too woke, too dramatic, offended by everything, and generally insufferable. And that she trashed the original film far too much.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
But you guys know me, okay? I couldn't let the internet's opinion sway me, and I tend to think celebrity drama is not as big of a deal as people act like it is, so I had to find out for myself if this was actually a bad movie or if the internet just told me it's bad, and turns out, oh my god, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I drug poor Nick to see it with me in theaters, and we ended up leaving halfway through, partly because I was cold, but mostly because it sucked. But again, I did get to keep my cup. It's a good cup. This movie is the most non-compelling, non-entertaining, flat, boring, weird, awkward, most heinous Disney movie I think I've seen ever. I'm pretty sure. And I cannot wait to roast the living heck out of Snow White. Starring Bambi, Adam Godley, Lord Farquaad, Gandalf's crazy sister, Panera Bread, gigantic pies, burnt toast lady, crazy underbite, and constant reminders that Snow White was once a little girl.
When I was a little girl, when I was young, my parents always said, my mother always taught me, my father told me. When I was a little girl, little girl.
So friends, bake yourselves a pie the size of a car, and let's talk about Snow White.
And now a word from our sponsors.
So a few weeks ago, I went over to my friend Kelly's house, and she made me probably the best salad I've ever eaten with this delicious Korean barbecue chicken, and it was Kevin's brand, and I was like, what is this? It's life-changing. So I went home, obviously, and made the exact same salad every single day for the next 6 weeks. And we send each other pictures of our salads and stuff, and it's super cute. But the problem is that chicken is, you know, paleo and healthy and good for you and good ingredients. And so therefore, it's ridiculously expensive, which made me very sad until, of course, I realized that it is on my favorite and only online grocery store that I ever use, Thrive Market, which is coincidentally today's sponsor. That chicken is on Thrive Market, and as usual, it is cheaper there than I can get it anywhere local to me, and it's very convenient because Thrive Market ships groceries right to your door and you don't have to go pick them up or be around people. I immediately texted Kelly and I was like, do you know about this? Because it's like entire doll hairs less expensive. I was also thrilled to see it on Thrive because Thrive has such high standards. They have restricted over 1,000 ingredients that are not good for you, so any brands that they carry there, you just have complete peace of mind, like you know it's not going to be, you know, gross and toxic and harmful. So I stocked up. Also very exciting that maybe you didn't know, Thrive actually ships frozen items if you want. So they came frozen. It got delivered on a 105-degree day to my door when I wasn't home, and when I got home several hours later, it was still still frozen. That's how good they package everything. I love Thrive. My trainer loves Thrive. Now Kelly loves Thrive, and I think you guys will love it too. So if you're interested in checking out Thrive Market, saving some money on healthy groceries, and getting them conveniently delivered right to your door, you can go to thrivemarket.com/Jaime French, and that'll save you up to 30% off your first order, plus you get a free gift. Again, friends, that is thrivemarket.com/Jaime French, which will save you 30% off your first order, and you will get a free gift. Why in the world would you ever step foot inside another physical grocery store and pay an arm and a leg for gross stuff? Thank you so much, Thrive, for sponsoring a portion of today's video and for delivering me my delicious chicken. And now back to the show. Hey kids, we're back. So this movie opens with some very adorable little varmints who open up the storybook of Snow White, while a guy who sounds an awful lot like Olaf catches us up to speed.
Once upon a time, there was a virtuous queen and king.
And the king and queen wanted a kid. So they had one, in the middle of a crazy intense blizzard.
To honor the night she arrived, her parents named the girl Snow White.
And so cute little Snow White was born into a lovely kingdom.
As she grew, the king and queen taught Snow White that someday her destiny would be
to grow up to look like Lord Farquaad from Shrek. I'm just kidding. Her destiny was to like grow up to be a wonderful queen who ruled with love, yada, yada, yada. You get it. And then, friends, we get a song, the first song of the film, and it is Just Okay.
A kingdom for the free and the fair.
I like the part where the mom's like, look into the well and tell me what you see.
Tell us who you wish to see.
And Snow White's all like,
All I see is water.
it was metaphorical, but okay.
The king and queen watched with pride as Snow White grew into
Lord Farquaad?
a kind and fair young princess.
Oh, got it, okay. But also Lord Farquaad. But then sadly, friends, peeps started dying.
But then tragedy struck. Snow White's mother fell ill and the good queen died.
Okay, that's sad and all, but look how funny they look because of the water ripples. Sorry, that was really inappropriate. Anyway, Dad moves on pretty quick whenever this enchanting woman from a far-off land shows up at their palace. And that woman obviously later turns out to be the evil queen whom we all know and love, played by the lovely Gal Gadot, whom we also know. And, well, you know what? I can't say we all know and love Gal Gadot. The internet actually kind of hates Gal Gadot for, like, being a bad actress or something. Personally, I don't think she's that bad. Besides that one scene from Wonder Woman.
Kal-El, no!
Side note, this is just dawning on me, but like, where did she come from? Does the original story say it? All it says is that she came from a faraway land, but why did she come here? You can't just do that. You know what I mean? You can't just show up at other people's kingdoms. Those are the rules. Anyway, the king ends up marrying her, but all was not as it seemed.
She was evil and cared only about her own beauty. She kept a magic mirror which could answer but one simple question.
And we all know what question that was.
Magic mirror on the wall.
Who is the fairest of them all?
Raise your hand if you have the Mandela effect thing that trips you up about this too, because we all grew up thinking she said mirror, mirror on the wall, and turns out it was always magic mirror on the wall. What? Are you team mirror mirror or are you team magic mirror? Personally, I am team mirror mirror, and therefore I would have done this scene correctly. Mirror mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's tough to say.
What? No, it's not. It's an easy question. Am I the most beautiful woman in the world or not?
You're asking lots and lots of tough questions.
How is it a tough question?
Well, for one thing, you're stupid. Like, seriously. So dumb.
Wow.
And also, your dress is 4 sizes too small.
No, it's not. It fits perfect. It's actually a little bit loose.
Also, you smell bad. You smell of an old homeless wench.
Wow!
Also, that dress makes you look like a fat soul.
A simple no would have been fine, but okay. So anyway, the evil queen starts getting Soup's evil. The dad leaves for some reason. I don't think they say where he's going, at least not in the beginning, but he never comes back.
Fear gripped the kingdom, and the queen's power grew.
She turned all the farmers into like soldiers that were only loyal to her. She robbed the kingdom's riches for herself, and
she made Snow White a servant.
A servant, you said? Servant? That's a weird way to pronounce Lord Farquaad. So anyway, friends, poor little Snow White was now a servant. So basically Cinderella with a far worse haircut.
Oh, I wish I could go.
But so long as the mirror continued to tell the evil queen that she was the fairest in the land, Snow White was safe.
As the years passed, the people nearly forgot there ever was a princess named Snow White.
We're the good things.
So one day, while mopping the concrete with gray water, a thief sneaks into the kingdom and starts stealing, or as we like to call it on this channel, deboing, some russet potatoes.
I'm gonna have to ask you to put those back.
I'm going to have to ask you to put those back. Put my russet potatoes back. Rachel Zegler is undeniably talented, okay? But I would dare to say she's a better singer than she is an actress. There's a few actresses who always look so distressed, you know, like Kristen Stewart and Emma Watson. Emma Watson's always like... And Rachel Zegler is also one of them, very distressed. So anyway, the thief is like, screw you, Lord Farquaad. Okay, I'm taking the potatoes because the people are starving. I'm hungry. My friends are hungry. And the queen is evil and doesn't care. And Snow White's like, well, the princess would care.
The princess would? Snow White?
And the thief's like, no, dude, nobody has heard from Snow White in many years and she doesn't care about us.
All she does is think of how to help her people.
Well, I have an idea of how she could help. Maybe she could start with purchasing a flat iron. I just want the ends to like... go straight down or even flip out, which would still be hideous, but it would be a little less hideous. Sorry. Anyway, so nobody knows that this servant girl is actually the princess Snow White.
Snow White hasn't been seen or heard from in many years.
And she doesn't want any of them to know for some reason. So Snow White decides to be brave and she approaches the evil queen and she's like, look, Queenie, people are dying. Kim, there's people that are dying.
Kim, there's people that are dying.
But Snow White's like, look, people are struggling. They're hungry. Maybe we could do what me and my parents used to do as a kid and bake them some pies.
Pies are luxuries. They don't need luxuries.
Okay, to be fair, evil Queenie has a point. She has a point because I saw the pies that Snow White and her parents used to make for the townsfolk and oh my God, they're enormous. And that's just not necessary. Nobody needs a pie the size of a tractor tire. You know what I mean? The townspeople do not need a blood sugar problem. Was that a good Gal Gadot? I feel like it was. Is it Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot? Do you pronounce the T? Well, suddenly during this conversation, the thief from earlier gets drug in and tattled on for poaching the potatoes. Dang, those were perfectly good spuds. 5-second rule? 5-second rule. You can still eat them.
Are you one of the bandits that gather in the forest stealing in the name of the king?
No, Your Majesty, not one of the bandits. I'm the boss.
So for his punishment, the queen wants to burn his house down. But Snow White's like, no!
My father would show mercy.
So Queenie's like, all right, fine. You want to show mercy? Let's strip him naked and let him freeze to death outside.
Bind him to the gates to freeze.
So the thief gets taken away, and then we get this scene between the queen and Snow White, and it's so bad. It might actually be the worst acting in this whole movie.
Look at yourself. Go on. Speak to your people.
Speak to your people. She's like, come on, Snow White. Your subjects are waiting for you. Speak to them even though you're looking into a mirror.
Your pies and your wise words.
With your pies and your wise words and your Lord Farquaad haircut.
What will you tell them?
I wish Snow White would have looked back in the glass and been like, all I see is glass.
All I see is water.
But alas, she doesn't. Instead, she sings us another song.
I'll become my father's daughter.
With that Lord Farquaad haircut just blowing in the breeze, you know what I mean?
I close my eyes and see
that Lord Farquaad is me. Sorry, I'm beating the Lord Farquaad joke to a pulp, I know. But I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Also, side note, can we stop pretending that Rachel Zegler is not an amazing vocalist because she genuinely gave me goosebumps here.
Is she a part of me?
She's a great singer. She's, she's just annoying. So she goes to free the thief from freezing to death.
Isn't much, but
It's a side baguette from Panera. It's a little stale. But so the thief touches Snow White's hand, our first moment of romantic tension. He takes his Panera bread, baguette, and he runs away. Meanwhile, the evil queen finds out from the mirror that she is not the hottest chick in town anymore.
Mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
She is more fair than thee.
Look, again, okay, not to side with the queen, but I feel like I too would have been confused.
A lovely maiden I now behold. She is more fair than thee.
Are you freaking kidding me? The girl who looks like Lord Farquaad? And on that note, kids, why don't we take a short break? Go get yourself a snow tire-sized apple pie or a crazy mangled-looking apple pie from Applebee's, and we'll be right back. Hey kids, we're back. And the evil queen is plotting to kill Snow White.
Take her to the forest. Kill her. Cut out her heart. Put it in this box.
She's got to kill her, dude. I mean, what else is she to do? She can't have some 12-year-old with a Lord Farquaad haircut out prettying her. Wait, why did Snow White just now become the fairest of them all just right this day? Maybe she came of age or something. I can't remember. Anyway, so the huntsman does as he's told, and he takes Snow White out into the orchard to start apple picking. And this is when we finally get to see that iconic yet very hideous red, yellow, and blue, the Wonder Bread dress.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
would you like one?
Aw, that was so sweet. That was so sweet for her to offer him an apple, even though he could easily walk over and grab one himself.
You're very kind. It's getting late.
Hey, that's strange. The way he said it's getting late almost sounded kind of murdery. Okay, this is the face she makes right here that everybody on the internet has had an absolute heyday with. People are making memes with this facial expression, some weird AI videos, and I'm not gonna lie, I think it lives up to the hype. Why did the director allow that? Why didn't they do another take?
You got any biscuits for sale in there?
I feel bad for laughing. And I'm about to feel even worse, okay? Because the huntsman gives this very dramatic, go! Get out of here!
Father!
Oh, please!
So she books it into the woods, she trips over stuff, she falls into a hole, she kind of pinballs down, hits a lot of branches, breaks a lot of shit.
Ow!
Look at that, guys. Snow White fell in a ditch. She should have known better. That's what I always say. Side note, do you guys remember how freaking next level scary this scene was in the original animation? It's no wonder we all have PTSD. So anyway, she falls into the river and it looks hilarious. And then she gets out and she's all wet and just take it in, you guys, because this is the only moment in the entire movie where her hair actually looks good. And then, as we saw in the original animation, some adorable little CGI animals come up and befriend her. Wait, this is actually so cute. I love the turtle. I like turtles.
I like turtles.
So then the Turts and Burbs lead her to this adorable bungalow in the middle of the woods. The bungalow, which we all know belongs to the 7 dwarves, but she doesn't know that. She has no idea who lives here. And she can clearly read people's names on these beds, meaning this house is occupied, but that doesn't stop her from laying herself down and fully falling asleep. I always thought that was weird. Well then, friends, we finally get to see the dwarves. I mean, the dwarves with a lot of Z's. And oh my God, they're hideous. Okay, so as most of you probably know, the dwarves were actually a point of contention amongst the internet, much like the rest of this movie. The dwarves were a huge part of the drama. And I'm still kind of unclear as to what happened, but if I remember correctly, because I don't have any time or energy left to research it anymore, originally the seven dwarves were played by like real humans with dwarfism, real dwarves.
You're wrong.
But then Peter Dinklage got offended and took to like Twitter or some social media platform, and he felt strongly that portraying dwarves living together in a cave was perpetuating stereotypes for people with real dwarfism.
The Game of Thrones star, who has a form of dwarfism, slammed Disney during an interview on Mark Maron's WTF podcast, saying that while he thinks the studio took one step forward casting the lead, they took two giant steps backward, perpetuating old stereotypes.
You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of seven dwarves living in a cave. What the fuck are you doing, man?
Wait, what? Do people stereotype in that way for real? Like, are there actual people out there who think that if you have dwarfism that you live in a cave probably and are a hobbit? From the movie The Hobbit. Wow. Okay, I don't know. So anyway, last minute, because of Petey Dink's comments, Disney decided to CGI the dwarves and I guess fire all of these actors. Oh my gosh.
Wrong. It never happened.
They got fired and we got this.
This story sucking shots.
Good God, dude. It looks like if Shrek and a Minecraft villager like had a son that didn't render all the way. Look, I don't know anything about anything, but I feel like the very obvious solution that Peter Dinklage should have seen was to cast Gary Oldman. As we know, he has played a dwarf before in one of the most moving performances of his career.
You don't have to defend me.
I can if I want.
I'm gonna fight Sally. I'm gonna take Sally.
Anyway, back to the story. So the dwarves come home and they find Snow White. And she explains to them, like, look, the queen is after me. The queen is actually Soup's evil. She tried to kill me, blah, blah, blah.
The truth is, the queen tried to kill me.
And they're like, oh, okay, well, you're gonna live here now.
You should stay here until you figure out where you're gonna go.
You're gonna live with me now. I'm gonna take care of you.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Meanwhile, Queenie finds out that she is an Uggo because the huntsman didn't do his job. He was supposed to give the queen Snow White's heart in a box to prove that he killed her, but instead he put an apple in it. How long has that been how many days have passed? Did she think there was just like a human heart rotting away in a box this whole time? Ew, remember in the original cartoon that he brought back a pig heart?
The heart of a pig!
That's actually kind of sad. Poor piggy. Anyway, friends, just like John Tucker, Snow White must die. So the queen pulls out all the stops. She sends all of her guards into the wilderness to find her. And meanwhile, some time passes. We get to see a cute little, like, not really a montage, but just Snow White is starting to bond with the dwarves with a Z.
See? Now you try.
Wait a minute. Why does Dopey look so young if he's 275 years old?
A human shows up in this cottage for the first time in 275 years.
Right? They said they've all been living together for 275 years and never saw a human or a woman.
275 years is a long time to argue.
Yeah, it's a long time to argue, and other things come to my mind. I'm just saying. This is where we get to see the Whistle While You Work song. I thought Rachel Zegler was good here. Like, I think obviously, like I said, she's a great singer, but I think if you really pay attention and realize that she was interacting with like nobody, she may have even been in front of a green screen. There was nothing really wrong with this and not much for me to make fun of apart from just Rachel Zegler being annoying and she can't help it.
Whistle while you work.
See, it sounds good, but personally, I'm always going to prefer the Ying Yang Twins version. The lyrics are just so profound. Anyway, so Snow White decides that she is going to try and find her father because remember, her father disappeared when she was a little girl and we never found out where he went. So the dwarves are like, all right, well, see ya. It was great getting to know you. And they leave her in the woods with nothing. They just go to work. Why didn't she pack a sack lunch? Or literally anything? Well, it doesn't matter because the thief from earlier showed up.
Don't say a word.
So the Queen's guards, like I told you guys, are on the hunt for Snow White because, you know, until Snow White is killed, the Queen is not the fairest of them all. She's an uggo. So then Snow White and the bandits start to sing what I personally feel is the worst song in the entire movie.
Well, that sounds an awful lot like Princess Problems.
Hey, do you guys remember how the Queen's guards were riding past you through the woods like 5 seconds ago? I feel like you shouldn't be singing. So then the bandits' friends show up, the fellow bandits, and hey, wait a minute! Why is this one real human dwarf? It's offensive. It's offensive because, again, it should have been Gary Oldman. Side note, when do we learn the thief's name? We still don't know his name.
My name's Jonathan, Princess. Not Jonathan, Princess.
That was kind of funny. Literally the only one singular laugh in this entire movie. Actually, no, I take that back. I also chuckled a bit when Jonathan takes an arrow for Snow White. And the reason I chuckled is because all of the promotional interviews of Rachel Zegler being like, she's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
And then he takes an arrow for her, so she's literally saved by the prince. Also, I was kind of hoping that he would, you know, die. But then I remembered that I already know this story, and I shouldn't expect any neat changes or plot twists, except for this. So just to recap, you know, they're in the woods hiding out from the Queen's guards. The Queen's guards find them, shoot an arrow. Jonathan takes the arrow for Snow White. So then they have to go back to the dwarves' house so that Doc can treat his wound, even though Doc is just a rock doctor.
Rocks?
But like, I got confused because didn't the Queen's guards just see them? And they shot an arrow because they saw them? Why didn't they chase them? Did they just give up the chase? Where did they go? You know what I mean? I guess they're still in the woods looking for Snow White. Meanwhile, Snow White and Jonathan and the dwarves are like having a dance party. Why won't you guys be quiet? So it's during this dance party that Snow White finally thinks to herself, hey, wait a minute. Jonathan took an arrow from me and is kind of a regulation hottie.
Stop it.
I have not seen a look like that since Debbie Ryan in Radio Rebel.
Get some help.
So they get all romantic, they sing together again, and they almost kiss, but then they like remember that they're being hunted.
We have to leave to protect the princess.
And that there's a bounty on Snow White's head. So Jonathan's like, BRB, G2G, TTYL.
I'll be back in 2 days.
Wait, but what is he gonna go do? I think I probably should have gone back and watched the original cartoon because I feel like there's missing information here that I should know, but I don't know it. I guess he's gonna go fight or something? I don't know. Let's find out after a short break. And when we come back, the anticlimactic climax. Don't miss it.
You look familiar. Oh yeah, the lady with the good potatoes.
Yeah, so if you couldn't tell by that scene, Jonathan gets captured. He got booby-trapped while wandering through the woods. I wonder if it was because of all the singing and partying. Anyway, he gets captured, he gets brought back to the Queen. The Queen's voice is suddenly weirdly deep.
You look familiar.
You look familiar.
You're protecting her.
You're protecting her.
Show me where you found him.
Was Gal Gadot, like, sick that day? You can't just do that, Gal. You can't just be all like, Snow White, why did you bake the pies and give all the townsfolk diabetes? You can't just do that. Gals don't talk like that.
Show me where you found him.
Anyway, friends, it is the moment that we've all been waiting for when the beautiful Queen finally becomes a full-fledged uggo. She drinks some like reverse Benjamin Button juice, like that one from that episode of Goosebumps that we talked about, and she becomes this old hag. Not near as scary as the one from the animated version, but I guess I shouldn't keep harping on that. Like, I mean, even this cup, like, what is this cup? Like, these don't look accurate at all. But she does do the thing from the original animated film, which is that she poisons the apple. And this particular poison will put its victim into the sleeping death. And the only antidote is...
true love's kiss.
And by
true love's kiss,
she means that the prince will kiss Snow White while she's unconscious, which was very offensive to Rachel Zegler.
Weird.
And yet it still happens. I thought they were going to write it out of the movie, but it happens. I personally never thought about that until everybody was offended by this movie, and I just want to clear the air right now. If I go into a coma and I can be awakened by a kiss, you guys better pucker up, dude. If any one of you holds back from kissing me because you think I might not consent, here's my consent. Lay one on me. And if you don't, we are no longer friends. Because I'll be in a coma, but still. Pucker up, ketchup lovers. So the evil queen goes to the dwarf house. I don't know how she knew where to find Snow White, but she did. And she's all like, I come with a message from John. Oh no, she has a different voice now, right?
I have come with a message from Jonathan.
I'm sorry, but I have a qualm because nobody in their right mind would believe this person. If this lady showed up at your door and said anything, do you believe her? Or are you gonna run for your life? I'm running for my life, dude. Like, look, I love elderly people. Okay, I'm the first person to help a sweet old lady up who hath fallen, unless it's this lady. This lady falls and I walk by, she's staying down. She's staying down. Nobody would believe this woman except Snow White, I guess, because when she offers her the poison apple, Snow White eats it, as we all know.
Something's wrong.
Now, friends, what does this teach us about people pleasing? Okay, this is a very important lesson I want you to take away from today, which is that you don't have to eat something just because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, and you do not have to eat a poison apple just because Gandalf's mentally unwell aunt tells you to. Say it with me. You don't have to eat a poison apple just because Gandalf's mentally unwell aunt tells you to. Very good. And so, friends, poor little Snow White slips into a coma, and the very sad 7 dwarves have a lovely funeral for her, and they lay her to rest on some nice comfy rocks, a nice comfy bed of rocks, with her Lord Farquaad haircut still intact. But meanwhile, Jonathan is escaping. Is that all he had to do was just pull a little? Just a bit of a tug, isn't it? So he breaks free. He uses this dead guy's phalange to pick the lock on his handcuffs, and he skedaddles right on out of there into the wilderness where the turts and burbs lead him to Snow White's rock funeral. Side note, how come Jonathan never asked what happened or why she died? He never even was curious as to what happened. I don't know, but anyway, she's alive. Yay! But wait, there's still the unresolved matter of Snow White's missing father.
My father is gone forever. Murdered by the queen.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you that part. When Snow White was dying from the poison apple, the queen was like, by the way, I killed your dad, so how you like them apples? And for some reason, this revelation that her dad that she thought was a deadbeat who left, now she knows that he's dead, and so that like motivates her to go and reclaim the city.
Time to restore our kingdom.
I guess I kind of get it. Like once she knows her father's dead, she's like, well, I guess I better go become queen myself. He's not coming back anytime soon. No sense on waiting on your dead dad to come back and reclaim the city. That's what I always say. So she marches back into her kingdom dressed as Little Red Mustard Hood. And the townsfolk are like, oh my God, it's Snow White. Let's sing at her. She hits this very hard note. Like it's a hard note to belt by any singer's standards. And I don't know if it was just my headphones or what, but it sounded... Just listen. Okay, it sounds way better watching it right now. It must have been my headphones. In my headphones, it was like exactly like that. So the queen's guards come down and they grab Snow White, and the queen gives this super pointy knife to one of the guards, and just when he's about to go all Stabby McStabberson on her, Snow White recognizes him.
Paul, you were a farmer.
Why is his name Paul? Can we stop naming characters Paul in these like fantasy movies where you could have any name you want? Here we have Jack Marius Tactheratrix, and here we have Lady Jessica Atreides, and here we have Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, and here we have Paul. Anyway, what were we talking about? So slowly but sure. Oh, sorry about that. So slowly but surely, Snow White starts recognizing all of the guards and remembering all of their names.
Matthew, Arthur, William.
Because her mother always taught her that names were important when she was a little girl. So then they all suddenly stop trying to kill Snow White because they remember that they used to be farmers.
I remember.
I remember.
And I. And I.
And I.
And I. So anyway, the queen raises up her beautiful crystal dagger, and just when she's about to kill Snow White, she gets thwarted by a crossbow.
I am the rebel quick.
Okay, dwarf man, coming in clutch with a crossbow. Hell yeah, dude. I mean, I still think it could have been Gary Oldman, but it's fine. So the queen's like, dang it. And she runs back up to double check one last time that she is still the prettiest. And the mirror's like, no, actually, you're not, because inside you're an uggo.
Famed is thy beauty, but it goes no further than the skin. For Snow White, beauty comes from deep within.
But like, going with that logic, why was she ever the fairest to begin with? So then she breaks the magic mirror, which causes her to turn all black and gross and crispy. And then she gets sucked up as crispy particles into the mirror. No, yeah, that makes sense. This entire time, that mirror was actually a secret portal that turns its owner into burnt up crumblies when broken. You guys didn't know that? So anyway, they all live happily ever after. The movie ends with this beautiful all-white party with tractor-sized pies and river dance. And everybody's like, I'm really sorry that I almost tried to kill you several times. And yeah. Wait a minute. I thought her and the prince would get married or something and have little Snow Whites. Oh no, I forgot. No, this is not a love story. This is not a love story. She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
Oh my god, it was so much worse than I actually thought it would be. Zero reason for me to ever want to watch this again. It's not good, dude. It's not even second day of my period and it's raining, so I'll watch literally anything good. It's not watchable. But I can't really tell you why. It's like, as you can clearly see that like the cinematography was very beautiful. The music was fine. There was nothing compelling, nothing interesting at all.
No climax.
I really tried to not be predisposed to hate it just because of the drama, but it did not hook me, man. It just didn't hook me. There was a massive lack of humor. I feel like oftentimes kids movies like, Shrek, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, The Incredibles, Nemo. I guess those are all fully animated, but still, like, there's so much humor in a lot of these movies that are geared towards like kids and family, and there was literally one singular chuckle in this entire movie. Let's see what the internet says. Oh my gosh. Okay, the average overall rating on IMDb is 1.8 stars out of 10. Yikes. I have never seen an IMDb graph like this. Look at this. The day I'm filming this, there's 322,000 one-star reviews. How are we ever going to pick one? Most of these one-star reviews are way too long and intelligent, which is not funny. We don't like intelligence here, so let's go with this one. This one's called Mirror, Mirror, Make It Stop. The apple was the least poisoned thing on screen. The dwarves acted like grumpy old men, not minors, just muttering and shuffling about. The prince was boring as hell, no spark, no nothing, like he slept through the whole movie. The story wandered around with no point, like it got lost in the woods. The forest looked fake, and the whole thing felt like a school play gone wrong. You'd think with all that money, they'd make something decent, but no. They churned out this snooze fest and said, skip it unless you hate yourself or love watching paint dry. A fairy tale so dead, no kiss could save it. I see what you did there, IMDb user Sahil55. Yeah, speaking of all that money, the budget for this movie was $250 million. Opening weekend, it grossed $42 million, and the gross worldwide is currently at $205,437,846. So we lost a little money. And I don't think that budget on IMDb includes the marketing budget. So, not exactly a financial success. Sad. I truly wonder what would have happened had the world not been so annoyed by Rachel Zegler. Would people still line up to see?
People will wait in line to see.
I guess we'll never know. Well, kids, I gotta go get my hairs cut. I'm going with the Farquad. It's a new thing. Subscribe if you would like to roast things and hate things together, particularly bad movies. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out! Don't make fun of me. Okay. Alright, I got it. Oh, the lid. I guess we could... Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar. That Lord Farquaad. She's always like this. 1,000 treetops.
Who's the fairest of them all?